If you want to become really good at something, you need to follow 3 very simple rules. And the first rule is that it needs to be simple. Whether you want to learn a language, get good at drawing, start a YouTube channel, the thing that you're doing needs to be very simple, because as soon as it gets complicated for you, you're most likely going to quit because it's too hard. And I know that because I also bought a mixing table to learn how to DJ, and I watched a tutorial and I was like, there's so many buttons, so many things going on, I'm quitting. And the same thing also happened to me recently at a salsa course when I noticed that everyone was already like advanced, and it was like the first dance that I ever went to a class to, and it was just way too fast for me, and I just switched off completely. And the same thing also happened to my YouTube channel, that I made the mistake of like overcomplicating things. I bought like a camera, tripods, microphones, I have my Adobe Premiere Pro, and I know how to edit videos, but I felt like the whole process was so overcomplicated that I always ended up quitting. And I noticed that if something is very simple, I'm way more likely to pick it up again. And the same thing happened with learning Spanish, that I used an app that is using music. So I did like a lot of Bad Bunny lyrics, and I used it in my day-to-day life, and that brings me to like my second and my third rule, because the second one is you need to have fun. If you overcomplicate something and it's not easy anymore, you're probably not having fun. And in order to repeat something and be consistent, which is my third rule, it needs to be easy and it needs to be fun. And that way you're going to repeat the thing. And especially if you learn a language, you need to be consistent, right? So what I would do is I would open the app, play the songs that I would listen to anyways on my bus ride, and I would go through the lyrics, the translation, and they also had some kind of like games where you press the word that you're hearing. So you're practicing your listening skills, but you're also applying it like to a song, and that way you're kind of like organically learning new words or learn about different contexts or cultural things that are explained in the song, without it feeling like work, like, oh no, I have to do like my 20 new words every day. And especially if you tend to quit like me, this is very important, that if it feels complicated, like you need to break it down further. You need to break it down so much that you are enjoying it, or finding new ways, like how can I enjoy this task, like cleaning with music or whatever it is. And I noticed, like I said, the same thing with my YouTube, that I would just overcomplicate it because I wanted it so bad that I was like, well, maybe my speaking skills aren't the best yet, to speak in front of a camera, not having a script, or feeling like it's authentic enough. So I was like, let's just buy this camera and all these like other things, because I was like, I'm gonna need it like when I'm monetized. And I even signed up a business and stuff. But I guess it was just too much, because then I had these like very high expectations that I'm like, okay, I'm setting up this camera and this whole like process takes time, and then like the editing takes time, and then uploading it just for, let's say, a very small amount of people, like 10 people watching my video. And I feel like if you make the video very simple, like me recording it right now with my phone actually, and just uploading it without even editing it, it's very simple. And that way I don't have expectations for my video to perform in the first place. And I think if we start anything, especially if it's something new that we're learning, and let's say we're working full time, you probably don't even have as much energy after work to do something else like full time. So it's very crucial that you think about it and make it easy, you have fun with it, and you're going to be consistent, like picking out a certain time of the day to do it, and you can consider it like me time. I think the easiest way to imagine and go about it is, think of it, you want to start learning how to draw, right? There are a lot of sketchbooks that teach you like step by step how you learn how to use different kinds of pens and pencils. And I was thinking, like, if you buy the most expensive paper to draw on, I feel like that leads you more likely to not want to use it again because you're like, I can't even draw, like, or paint. Why would you want to go with the most expensive paper? And that way, when you're going to mess up your painting or drawing, that way you're going to be upset with yourself versus when it would be just, I don't know, like a receipt from something that you bought and you're just like scribbling something on it. It doesn't feel like a waste because you're like, I was going to toss it away anyways, right? And that's how you need to approach anything new that you're trying to get good at. That you start off very low maintenance, very simple, and that way you're going to have fun and you're going to do it again over and over again. Because it takes a very long time to actually get really good at something or to even figure out what you want to do. Let's say you want to get into drawing, you want to get into painting, you're probably looking for inspiration, what kind of niche you want to get into, or even YouTube. But if you view it more like a journal, like you're scribbling stuff and there are no rules in the beginning, that way you can experiment more and that will help you find the things that, or like the niche that you want to get good at in the first place. Because if you're overanalyzing everything and you're like, okay, I need to go in this niche and do this and that, I think it takes you even longer to end up where you're supposed to be because you're following too much, let's say, external, how do you call it? I don't even know. External voices, people, because everyone has an opinion. And I learned this especially in art, that even though you learn certain rules and the golden ratio and how things are supposed to be looking like, you still have a lot of customers and everyone has their different opinion if something looks good or not, depending on their perspective. And that's why I think it's important that, especially in like creative fields, that you experiment and you will notice what you like and what you don't like. And there's not a certain specific timeline that is telling you, oh, it's going to take 1 year or 10 years. And I think that's why most people give up, because it's not like a certain training that you're getting that you're like, oh, after 3 years, you have this degree and then you get paid this amount of money. It doesn't work like that. And yeah, I hope this video helped you and motivates you to start something new. And I hope I see you in the next one. Bye bye.